Hello, everyone. Let's pull this here. All right, we got some early birds, so that's good. Just gonna give some people time to jump in. Oops. Okay, move this. I kind of did a thing, and now I have to admit everyone manually. Why did I do this, Kalisha? Okay. Hello. Admit. Oh, Jackie.
Hi.
Can I make you a host? I I didn't realize that I put that I need to admit everyone in the waiting room. So when I
Oh,
show my
yeah,
screen,
I got you.
hold on. Da, 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 da. Okay. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. You're a lifesaver. I was like, why? I was sitting down here waiting. And I'm like, why did I do this?
I
Okay.
gotcha.
Let's see. Nice. Let me see. I see some familiar faces here too. Michelle.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Fabulous.
Man, this is good. Let me scan this out and pull this in. It is always, you guys, you prep for these Zooms and you're good and you're ready to go. And right when you launch, you're like, what is happening? There's so many different things all the time. How's everyone doing today? Let me hear some stuff. Karina, Renville. If you guys can turn your cameras on, that would be fantastic. I go off like a lot of seeing the engagement, or I'm gonna feel like I'm just ranting away. Aaron, the best underwriter in the world. And I got Colin. Shout out to my
I
client,
got my
Colin.
kids, so it's bath time for them. So
I was like, what? All right, this is amazing. All right, so I'm gonna give everyone like 3 more minutes, and I'm gonna start exactly at 7:35 because I want to respect everyone who showed up on time. And this will be, it's recorded, so you guys will have this as well. Let me make sure I have pinned this speaker. And okay. Oh, like she's freezing. She has a snuggle blanket. It's like her perfect snuggle blanket, Todd.
Yeah, I am starting to get a little hot. But it was a cold day today.
Yeah, it was really cold. It was so cold. Okay. Gonna put this on here. And then, you know, as I see that AI thing, I really need to make use of that AI note taker. I think I really need to, because I think it will be a lifesaver. Guys, full disclosure as well. I've only shared what I'm gonna share today with a few people, so it was like a breeze chatting about it and sharing it, but now I feel like I'm in like a big group of people. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to mess up. So, and I may get very like, I'm gonna get super in depth with it. Reason being, I remember when I started doing this, it was like I couldn't figure it out. There were so many fancy systems out there, but it was mainly for like if you're doing like a fund manager, and I just couldn't find something that's close to what I'm doing, and it's not where I want it to be. And I know eventually I may have to change this whole thing. Um, but I just wanted to share with you guys how I got here, some of the issues and just things that I am doing. Because as Jackie reminded me earlier too, like when I just got into capital raising, I didn't really have much resources to pull from. It just took a lot of talking to different people who weren't even in like the real estate space as well, where you just get different ideas of things and you try it out, and sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does, and sometimes it's like, I just need a whole system. Screw this. Let's delete this and start all over, which has happened a lot, right, Michelle? Is this good? Okay.
Yeah. Well, you and I are a lot alike when it comes to that. I'm already revamping another system. So
Yes.
I'm curious, excited to see what you've done since the last couple of times that we've talked.
Man, this should be good. All right, perfect. It's 7:35. I'm going to start, you guys. So this is let's see. Are you guys seeing my screen?
No.
Nope. Oh, no, I didn't even hit share screen. Oh, I'm so stupid. Okay, perfect. Are you guys seeing it now?
Yep.
Fantastic. Awesome. So this Zoom is all about how to scale your capital raising business. And I'm sure a lot of persons are interested because they're like, okay, how? Like, how are you doing it? How are you, and especially a big question is, how are you charging fees? I know a lot of persons have that in mind, but you will see it's more than just the fees as well. So we're just going to talk about how to scale your capital raising business. Full disclosure, you guys, is that all the information I'm presented here is for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence. I do not provide financial, legal, or professional advice. I will introduce you to strategies and things that I'm doing, but please don't apply it to your personal situation. So full disclosure, I'm just sharing my experience as well. So a little bit about me. I know some persons may know me through Sub 2, some persons may know me through Raising Private Money, Fund Launch, real estate meetups. But a little bit about me is that I am a Jamaican immigrant. I had a whole marketing degree. I got up and left my corporate job in Jamaica and moved to the States. And in working in the restaurant industry, I started doing virtual fix and flip, which turned into me doing short-term rentals did a little bit buy and hold, expanded the portfolio through partnerships and doing rentals in Texas, Virginia, Atlanta, and all over. I need to change this because last year, I think in the middle of last year, I've managed to raise around like July 2023, about 1.5 million in private capital. I think up to this date, I'm about close to 2.5 million in private capital that I've raised. A lot of you may even know me from co-hosting Money Mondays podcast, where I talk about raising capital with my co-host Betsy. And then a lot of you recently know me too from doing the Bigger Pockets interview recently, sharing my journey, how I left my country to pursue, as they call it, the American dream. So what I want to share, it's really what I did before this whole capital raising thing. As I said, I started in the restaurant industry space. And I'm going to go a little bit more in depth because it was way more than just business. I've spent over 40,000 in coaching programs and conferences. I think it's way more than that. I did direct to agent. And for those who don't know, the direct to agent portion of it is when you reach out to agents trying to get them to sell their listing using creative financing. A little bit backstory about that is that when I quit my W-2 job June 2022, the first mastermind I've ever joined in my life was Raising Private Money by Amy Majori. And I was like, okay, I need to figure out how to raise private money. I did not know anything about Sub-2, no, nothing like that, because I knew I had issues before with getting private capital. Joined Sub-2, and again, mind blown, because I'm like, this is crazy. This is so much information. And I think I gravitated towards Sub-2 because I doubted myself when it came on to raising private capital. There were voices saying, you can't do it. To find $50,000, it's a lot of money. I don't know anyone in my network, so you can't do it. So I was like, put in raising capital on the back burner. I'm going to do direct to agent instead. And did direct to agent, and I really found out that's not for me. Like, that is not for me. I do not like cold calling. I don't like doing any form of acquisitions at all. It's just not my thing. And I decided to stop doing it. And after talking to my coach, I decided to give capital raising a try. I'm like, if I can just give it all in, like 100%, I don't know where it would take me, but just give it a try. I've done partnerships before I decided to go full-blown capital raising. So I went full-blown capital raising about, I would say, March of 2023. And I was like, I'm just going to go, I'll figure it out. And that's where I am today, because I give 100%. I went all in. The opportunities and things just start flowing. So I'm saying this to say, like, even if you're not sure that you want to do capital raising, or you doubt it yourself, that I don't know anyone with 100,000, I don't know anyone with 50,000, just try it. Like, you'll be surprised at things and the opportunities that will like pop up. Like, not even coincidence, but because the university that you're trying, then it will just put things in your way. So that's what I did before to get to where I am today. And it also took me, and I'm sharing this because it has nothing to do with business. It took me talking to coaches about mindset and overcoming my fear of believing that I can't do it, that made me decide that I'm going to focus on this capital raising thing. So it really took a lot of self-work for me to like, this is what I'm going to do. So from that, then you guys, this is what I did next. And I'm breaking these things down because everything unfolded. With my marketing degree, I was running away from marketing because I'm like, I'm done with marketing. I don't want to do it anymore, right? But I came here, I didn't have much resources, and I'm like, okay, let's tap into my skills. So you got to ask yourself, like, what are some of the skills that you have that you like doing? And I'm like, I'm good with social media. I'm just going to position myself on social media that I'm in real estate. And I remember that last year, I remember my coach, he was like, Kels, what is your goal? What do you want to be known for? And I was like, I don't know. I really knew it, but again, self-doubt. I didn't want to say it out loud. It's like, what do you want to be known for? And I'm like, I just want to be known as a capital raiser. He's like, okay, that's it. You're going to be known as a capital raiser. So my goal was to be known as a capital raiser. Guys, I do not know what that entailed. I knew that I needed to build my credibility, right? A lot of you may be like, yeah, but I've never done a deal before, all that stuff. I was like, I'm going to build my credibility. I introduced myself. Hey, I'm a real estate investor and a capital raiser. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know a capital raiser. Like when you hear capital raiser, you may think 100,000, 200,000, but I introduced myself as a capital raiser. I started a podcast. I co-host a podcast about raising private capital. Did I know anything about starting a podcast? No. We figure it out every single episode because I know, again, I wanted to build that credibility. I joined masterminds that talk about raising private money because, again, I needed to educate myself. Right? So these were some of the ways that I did to build my foundation. Then I knew I wanted to build a strong track record. So I would show previous projects that I've done. A lot of you have done a ton of projects. A lot of you may have done even one project. You still got to show it that you have done something. If you've used private money from a friend or a family, ask them to give you a review, even in a text message, you guys. And screenshot that and post it on social media. That, again, this is just things that I did. And I think because I did those things, it helps me to be where I am today. And you will see how. And I also wanted to cultivate relationships with other investors. So I was very intentional. When I talk to someone, they're like, oh, I have money. That doesn't mean that we're going to be a good fit. I was very intentional with the different meetings that I would have with these private money lenders. So whenever I send private money lenders an email at my Calendly, I'm very strategic with the questions that I ask. And again, you guys are going to see how this play a crucial role in you scaling your business. When you meet someone and you give them your Calendly, doesn't mean you should be on the phone talking to them 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours with no intention. My Calendly asks 3 questions. 1, which role best describes you? So you either choose, are you a real estate investor? Are you a private money lender or partner? And you have the option to say other. The reason being I put other is because I'm very intentional with who I want to meet. And those are required questions. The next question I ask on my Calendly is, what do you want to talk about? And that is a required question because that will help to gauge the conversation that we're going to have. And these calls are usually a 15-minute conversations. So that way by the 15-minute conversations, I already did my research on that individual. And most times they are private money lenders. Then when we do the intro, my first question to tap straight into figuring out how we can help each other is, oh, so have you, let's say the person's selected, I'm a private money lender. So my question is, have you lent on a deal before? Right? To start the conversation, don't start the conversation, how can I bring you value? That is super vague, right? And you don't want to ask the person as well, don't even want to ask you, how can I bring you value? Because like, we're setting up a meeting. Yes, we all want to do deals together. Again, we're being intentional because this is how we're going to build our entire system, right? So while I'm having those conversations with the person, I have my computer, my system in, and I'm taking notes, right? I'm taking notes. Okay, this person has lent on a gap funding before. This was the amount. This was a term. That way, you guys now are getting an idea what type of deal that lender is comfortable with. And in having those conversations, you will figure out, ooh, this person did their first deal and they use a HELOC. So without outrightly saying, where did you get the money from? You already picked up the person got their money from a HELOC. And you plug that into your CRM. That way you also know when starting to market to them in the future, you know, okay, this person used their HELOC, they get a HELOC at 10%. You won't bother, it wouldn't make sense to bring a deal to that lender that you have a deal for 20,000 for 10%. It just wouldn't make sense. So now you just try to be very intentional with the relationships that you build. So we're going to go back a little more in depth with this because it all plays a key role in your intake form. Another thing too that I did to get me to where I am today is my branding. And you guys must be thinking, who's even thinking right now? Like if you're thinking like, I don't know nothing about marketing or branding. I don't like social media. Who's thinking that? Who's overthinking that? Yeah, see, Philip, Mia, who was like, and that's the thing, like, we really need to, I think when we hear about branding positioning, we think about these really big companies. Let's try to take that out of our head. Everyone you go on their social media, I'm a real estate investor. Perfect. That's good. The key is that you need to be consistent in what you're positioning yourself as. So if I put that I'm a real estate investor, I may tweak it a little bit. Okay, I do buy and hold. Then my content on social media will be positioned as that. When I go to my Chamber of Commerce event, I position myself. I'm a real estate investor and I focus on buy and hold. A lot of us sometimes we're doing wholesale, we're doing fix and flip, we're doing everything. If that's the case, pick one or two things. If you do a lot of wholesaling, I'm an acquisition company. So you got to pick one or two things and you build on it. For me, again, I position myself that I am a capital raiser, which meant I went to conferences focused on capital raising, not because it was real estate, mean that I'm going to go. Any events that I'm going, capital raising, because again, I need to affiliate myself with persons in that space, right? And another thing you got to, especially as connectors, a lot of persons in sub 2, the different groups, you are known as being connectors. But you have so many connectors out there. But the question is, how do you differentiate yourself from all the other connectors? Doesn't have to be something major. Is it because you're professional? Are you consistent with being a connector? Are you providing valuable, like not even valuable, like solid quality deals? You have a lot of not because you're a connector and someone says, hey, I need money, then you just copy and paste that entire deal and start marketing. That way you're not positioning yourself as just a connector who's not even underwriting deals or providing shitty deals. Sorry, my language, but it happens, right? Persons now, I started position myself that one, I'm very professional. So persons know me because I'm professional. Persons know me because of my brand and I'm consistent with it. And persons know me because I value the quality over quantity. I'm like, I'll spend time, and my underwriters here too. He's freaking amazing, Aaron. We take the time to underwrite the deals before I bring it to private money lender. So when I bring a deal to a lender, they know that these deals are already vetted and we're not scrambling to get all this information in. So you just have to find a way just to be consistent. Am I blabbing away? I hope I'm not. Because I think persons may come and expect this big, grand secret, but one of the biggest things that I've learned, and I look back on my journey when I really went all in March of last year, it was that I was very consistent, not like every single day, but I was consistent. If I look back on my journey, my marketing, showing up for my podcast, introducing myself as a capital raiser, my branding. And yes, you're gonna talk to people and you're gonna feel like you're left behind. That happened to me. When out here, people doing, oh, I'm doing 5, 10 deals. I was like, oh, am I not doing something right? Because I'm over here trying to get the perfect system. And when I show or persons what I'm doing or tell them what I'm doing, they're like, no, you're laying the foundation and you're taking the time to provide quality deals. Sometimes quantity is not good over quality, but if you can provide quality deals like you guys, lenders are always going to come back to you. And they know when you present something to them, it's quality because you and your team took that time to underwrite those deals properly. I'm going to pull up the chat a little bit because I want to see what's going on. Let's see. We see now. Good. Okay, perfect. Oh, Aaron is here. Aaron is still here. Awesome. And another thing too, Aaron. Okay, is he here? Yeah, he's here. Guys, let me tell you something that I've learned before I go in to show you the back end. If it's one thing, if you have a team, you don't need a yes man team because you're going to make mistakes, right? You're going to make mistakes. And I remember like when Aaron and I started working together about 4 months ago and we created our criteria and he's like, this is your criteria? Yes. He's like, okay, this is our criteria. This is what we're sticking to. Even if it's friend, someone could send us a deal. And I'm like, Aaron, this is a good deal. But he's like, nope. He's literally shutting it down because again, if it doesn't matches your criteria, why are you raising capital for it? Now you have some persons who would raise capital for everything, but we kind of niche down a little bit. We niche, we don't do EMDs, we just do gap funding, persons who need capital partners, which again, we're gonna go into. So to cover what I did next, this is what I realized after everything that I went through. So before I had a team, I was underwriting myself, marketing myself, creating pitch decks myself, stressed out, being at conferences. And it's crazy that every time you get a deal in escrow and it's when you're at a conference and you have plans, everything decides to go wrong. And I'm like, I can't operate where if I decide to step away for a couple of days, my business stop running. That means I'm not making any money and I can't even be present at wherever I'm at. So I realized that I need to scale my operation. And in order for me to scale my operation, I need an underwriter. That was very, very key because you have persons that were sending deals, email, text message, things would get lost. Then I need more information. I respond to that email and it's so much back and forth, which takes weeks and it's pointless. And then everyone needs money now. Yeah, but if you need money now, I need all the information. So I knew I needed to get an underwriter. I also knew I needed to get someone to help me create the pitch deck. Virtual assistant. When I hear people talk about virtual assistant, I'm like, I can't hire the first thing. I can't hire that. I don't have any money. That was my first thinking. Because you hear hiring people's salary, you hear money, cha-ching, ching. Yeah, I was like, I can't do that. But I had to make a list and be like, what are the pros and cons? If I'm having these issues and I want to scale my business, how can this virtual assistant help me? I made a list and I had everything. The virtual assistant can find leads. The virtual assistant can help me to do outreach, to find private money lenders on LinkedIn. The private money lenders can help me to automate some of the meetings. The private money lender, I had a whole list. And the only con was that not a private money lender, the virtual assistant would cost money. So again, this took a little bit of mindset thing to be like, listen, if you want to scale, something got to give and you need to build a team. So I got an underwriter. I got a virtual assistant to help me create all the marketing pitch deck, do our email marketing, or newsletters, ensure those goes out. And then I connected with more capital raisers and connectors, right? Which has helped me to scale a lot. Another thing too, is that I knew I needed to streamline my process. Imagine you're the main one doing every single thing. And for me, I'm very impatient. I don't like teaching people. And I'm like, I have all this process in my head. I could clearly explain it to private money lenders, what them. I learned this through my mastermind with raising private money. I know what I need to do to get that private money lender to say yes. And I know all the things I need to do after I get the money. I know what I need to do a follow-up, but it was all in my head. Everything was in my head. And to keep track of when a loan is due, I had like a whole Excel sheet. Okay, this loan is due that time. Okay, I need to do a monthly payment. Oh, this is due that. Where do I find all the paperwork? I don't know. They're all in my email. Like I was all over the place. And if I needed to find someone to help me with things, now I'm like, now I got to teach someone. I don't got time for this shit. Like I don't, and I get antsy. right? So after I realized all those things, I was like, yeah, now is the time. This is a time, you guys, when you step into that phase. Like you have to go through all these things. Like you have to, because that's the way that you know what you need to do for your business. You won't figure it out. But when I started having these thoughts, I started asking questions. Like I started becoming very intentional with the questions that I asked. When I talk to my coaches, I ask, hey, okay, I'm thinking I may need a business coach. Hey, I'm thinking of growing my business. What do I need to do? I'd be intentional with the other connectors. Hey, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? And you start asking questions. And then having those conversations, like your brain is like, ding, ding, you get the clarity that you need. And that's because, again, you become very intentional with the questions that you're asking. So I was asking questions like, okay, if I know another person who's done a lot of gap funding, for example, I would hear persons talk about, I'm doing Gator deals, you're getting 30 to 40% return. I'm like, huh? I'm like, and I'm telling you straight up, I'm like, how? Tell me about this deal. I want to know, how are you structuring it? When you ask those questions, you hear how persons are structuring it. Okay, how are you keeping track of all these things? Remember, I am trying to figure everything out. So you got to ask. Everyone has their system. Some persons was using Excel, some didn't have anything. Some persons was using Go High Level. I looked on Go High Level. I'm like, no, I can't afford this, $297 a month. No, I got too much stuff. It was so many different things. So it's like when you start having those conversations, you start doing research, you see. Before I moved to Monday project management, I was using ClickUp. ClickUp, we started building everything on ClickUp, CRM, keeping track of deals, all those things. We outgrew it. And for me, the hard thing was, we just spent all this time building this out on ClickUp. Now we got to move. Come on. Like we got to build everything over from scratch. And I want to say this, whatever is it that you guys are building, whether you decide to use Monday or not, if you're looking to scale your business, whatever system you're using now, you're going to get bigger and you're going to have to change. You're going to have to go to a whole bigger system. And as long as you accept that and you make sure you just record everything that you're doing, Zoom, videos, whatever it is, just record what you're doing and save it. It's going to be so much easier for you guys to transfer over. So with all that chit-chattering, and you guys see where I come from and where I am right now, because I like to show the journey. It's not like I didn't get here, the system and the processes overnight. It took a lot of trial and error. So are you guys ready to see Monday? Who's ready to see Monday? I know some persons have seen it a little bit. Like, let's see. Let's see. Who's ready? That's ready. Oh, someone talk about SOPs. Yes. Like, oh, yes, you guys are ready. Yeah, I love this. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Someone mentioned SOPs, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Is that I'm going to give you guys a quick tip too. What I did is that when I was going through the process, like trying to figure out what systems to use and the flow before I hired the VA, I just went in ChatGPT and I put in, create an SOP on a private money lending business that from onboarding private money lenders to investor relations to communication to follow-ups. I just kept it simple. And lo and behold, ChatGPT gave me a whole SOP. And I was like, bingo, that's what I need. And I just started building on that SOP. And I remember ChatGPT giving me all of that. And I just downloaded and edited. And it was a starting point for my SOP. It's not perfect yet. It was just a starting point. So when I hired the VA, I was like, okay, this is the SOP that I have, but it will change. But use it as a guide so you have an idea of what the process is like. And as we keep fine-tune it, we will record videos and we will update them and give it version by version. So I'm gonna share my screen again with Monday. Okay, now technology, don't play with me. Okay, here you go. All right. So you guys, when I decided to switch to Monday, I wanted a system where one, I could keep track of all the deals that I'm working with. I wanted to be able to communicate from that one platform. I wanted to be able to communicate, meaning text, email, keep track of everything. And for me, I'm a visual person. I love colors. So I knew I didn't want to build on Go High Level, even though I was forced. Everyone was saying, you need Go High Level. You need, for all the things that you want to do, you need Go High Level. So I was literally forcing my screen share paused. Okay, hold on. Oh, you guys weren't seeing it all this time? Ooh. Hold on. Okay, let's do this again. Perfect. Are you guys seeing Monday now? Okay, perfect. That makes sense, right? Man, I was chatting. Imagine if I didn't watch the chat. All right. So I needed something where I like seeing like status, like this is just my thing. I guess I did a little project management in school as well. So I kind of like seeing these colors and all these fancy stuff. And I was getting to a point where I'm forcing myself to like go high level. And I was like, yeah, I don't. And I remember I was talking to my underwriter and he's like, close, don't switch to Monday. Like some of the things that the forums are doing, you can't do that. And like, and this again is having conversation with your team. It is going to help you a lot. You're not going to have everything figured out. You have to have the conversation with the team, everyone who's using it. How can we make this better for all of us? Right. And another thing too is for us that I was raising money and I wasn't able to see how much money am I raising? Yes, I had an Excel sheet, but I was double counting. I didn't know which month that money was for. I wasn't able to keep track of soft commitments, money that got funded. I wasn't able to know like how much money did I really make in finder's fee? I had no clue, right? Because I wasn't keeping track of it. So started on Monday with just one form. And I'm like, all right, we're going to do a form. You need money? Best believe you better fill out that form. Also, I want to know for anyone who's raising capital, you're going to have persons that everyone needs money now. And persons are going to send you texts. Persons are going to send you email. But at some point, you have to get super serious and be like, use this form. Here's why. The person who fills out that form, that person really needs that money. The person who fills out that form is not going to waste your time. The person who takes the time and attach every single information that you need really needs that money and values your time. Because you have everyone has a good deal. Everyone has a solid deal. And you spend time underwriting that deal. You spend time on the phone with that deal because what? They need money now. I mean, not saying like every single one of our deals go through the form, like, but 90%, 99% of those deals has to go through our pipeline. Even if an investor sends me a deal and if they have all the information, you know what I'm doing? Coming in here, Kathy Brown, putting in Kathy's information and email, and I do an attachment. That way it still goes through my underwriter. So how this system works is that you need funding for a deal. Here's the form. And the form asks you basic things that we need about the deal. Now, we're not asking you about your LLC and all that stuff because, yeah, we don't know if we're going to raise capital for it. We just need the main information. What do you need the money for? How much money do you need? Tell us about the deal and how long do you need it for? Once they fill out this form on Monday, it will autofills into this main table. And it will literally, all the questions that's on the form, these right here are all the questions on the form. And how this is set up is once John Brown, Aaron, I know you're here, full disclosure, you're going to be getting a lot of notifications, so I'm sorry. This is all so you can ignore them. So once someone fills out a form, it comes in our pipeline. and it will automatically goes to the status to say not yet started. But what it will do is that it will notify your underwriter that we just got a deal submission. So he knows he gets a notification on the app, on Monday app. He also get a notification via email to say we just got a deal submitted. Now, let's say Aaron is working on the deal and whatever he's doing, maybe John Brown didn't provide enough information. He's like, I need more info. The moment Aaron switched this to need more info, it's gonna go to, well, yeah, this is, I guess I turned the automations off. Good. Once Aaron select need more info, it will notify John Brown via email that we need more info. And it will move it to the stage right here that says need more info. And Aaron is able to communicate with John Brown via email on this entire thing without leaving his email, right? So what will happen is that if John Brown responds to the email, we'll be able to see all the communications in here. Like everything is stored in one place. If I don't want to view the submission that John Brown sent like this, I can go to, they call something called email and activities, and you see information and it will show me everything from the form. I like viewing it this way. That way I'm not scrolling. I'm literally just doing this, anything that I'm looking for. And you're able to attach different things as well. If Aaron wants to, your team member wants to communicate, he can say, at Kalisha, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. So what I like with this too is that it will keep every communication about that one particular deal from John Brown. So if the deal is on 123 Main Street, everything that you need, all the information is one place. Here's the fun part. And this is where I go a step further, how I build my list. You hear about building your list. Anyone that fills out the form, it's integrated. Monday is integrated with my MailChimp account. And once they fill out this deal intake form, they're automatically added to my MailChimp account as a contact. And they're tagged as an investor. That way, when I'm sending out emails, I'm able to, maybe I want to send out email to all investors. I can do that because they're already added to my MailChimp, right? And that again, all through automation. The fun part too is that maybe I want to see how many deals are we working on right now? How many deals need more? How many deals have been approved? How many deals have we lost? How many deals are not approved? I can go the chart and it will show me how many approved deals that we have in the pipeline. How many deals we have that need more info? How many deals have we didn't approve? How many leads do we have by the entire by month? So this will show 2024, but before, when you have more months, it will show how many deals you work on each month. So that way too, it really gave us an idea how to figure out KPIs. People will tell me, Kalisha, you need KPIs. Yeah, how do I know KPI if I was the one doing everything solo dolo, right? So we started doing these things, and then based on the traction that we're getting, then we figure out what KPIs to do. And here's my favorite part. If Aaron approves a deal, once he selects this as approved, so the beauty of it, the moment something from this changes, it's gonna go somewhere. So once he select approved, I get notified that that my underwriter just approved a deal. The borrower is notified that his deal just passed the underwriting stage, and he should await the next step. What happens next is that this lead goes straight into deal tracker. I want to make sure I don't lose anyone first. So I'm going to check the chat real quick. Monday is a paid version you have? Yes. So after this, I'll show you which of the versions to get if you're interested in it, because it's a lot of things on it. How did you build this out? Okay. Did you have someone or Monday helped create formal links? Call it. No, I created all of it. I'm kind of crazy. I kind of have like an integrator brain. So I kind of did it. But yeah. So just to go back, when it moves from approved, it goes into our deal tracker. And once it goes to our deal tracker, we don't pull every single information from the form. We only want to pull the information, what's the requested amount, and the borrower name. We want to pull the terms of project length. Recently added this, like, is there a connector involved? Now with this, we won't know yet because we haven't even done anything as yet. The lien position, the terms, you can pull whatever information that you want. We keep the date here so we know when was this deal added. And once the deal comes here, and before we didn't have this. Before, when a deal was approved, it went straight to it went straight to needs funding. And it happened that it went straight to need funding. I had to go in, send an email, this is our fee. Because as connectors, sometimes we're afraid to state how much our fee is. Sometimes we don't have anything in writing. And you got to protect yourself a lot. So in talking to different attorneys, talking to SEC attorney, they're like, you need to have something in writing, because if the deal goes south, you got to show that you weren't liable for it. So now, before we start, and then another reason too, we would spend time, create pitch deck, do all these things. The borrower goes, the borrower found a lender, they didn't even tell you, or something about the entire deal change and you had no clue and you're spending time doing it, right? So now they have to go through this stage, which is send a finder's fee. This we haven't automated yet. The reason being is because every deal is different on the fee that we're going to charge. But guess what? We already have a template. So all we got to do is just go in here, send an email to the borrower. So we'd go to the email and we'll start a new email and we'll select a template. I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. So what the template would be is, so we name our template. So it will be pitch deck approval. Nope, not pitch deck approval. It would be deal approved notification. So it looks something like that. And we're telling them everything that we're going to do for a service. And we make sure to highlight this. It is not guaranteed that we will find capital for your deal. Because I've had persons tell me, you're a scam, blah. I'm like, dude, I don't control the money. I'm helping you find the money. It's not a guarantee. And I'm not afraid of telling you that this is not a guarantee I'm going to find you the money. But best believe my team and I are going to try our best to get you the money, right? You got to set that expectation. And we give them the option. How do you want to pay the finder's fee? All those things. Do you want to pay out of pocket or do you want to include in the total raise? We make sure to tell them once they're okay with all the terms, they respond, agree. We're protecting ourselves and we have something in writing. If they don't respond, agree, we're not touching that deal to raise capital for at all. Because I don't want to waste my time. And a lot of times we raise capital for other people and we're like, this person didn't want to even pay me, that I wasted all my time. But did you set the expectations? So for me, like, if I go ahead and start raising capital for someone and they didn't even respond to that email, I can't blame them. So all of this is saved. And the good thing is that once, because the email, which I didn't put an email in, yeah, stupid me. Once I have an email and borrower email here, their email will auto-populate in this field. And then once they reply, approve, agree, I get that notification in my email. My VA also sees it. The next step they select the stage and they put qualify borrower. Once they qualify borrower, it now moves to this pipeline. Okay, we need to qualify the borrower. Again, I'm not yet on the phone with this person who needs capital. I'm not on the phone with them at all. Once we're here, we're going to send them another email. And we ask them, I think, 5 questions. How many fix and flip have you done? Do you have any property that you can cross collateralize? We also ask for a photo. We also ask, do you have, how many buy and holds you have? I think there's one more question that we ask. When they respond to the email with that question, that's when I get on a phone call with them, because I value my time as well. So I get on a call and I verify everything that they respond to email. Okay, so you've done a few fix and flip. When was this? Tell me about this project. Oh, you have properties you can cross collateralize. What is the underlying debt? What's the property worth right now? Okay, that way now I know I need to start asking for additional information. Do you have an appraisal report? Do you have a term sheet? Because I need that to go in the pitch deck. So while I'm qualifying the borrower, my team is now they're already creating the pitch deck. So that way we have all the information we need when it's time to send it out to our lenders. Once I have all the information I need and I already qualified the borrower, I'm gonna move this to working on pitch deck. Then it goes into the pipeline, needs funding. And it will stay there until once the pitch deck is ready, we just need to move the stage from working on pitch deck to marketing. And then with marketing, we now put the pitch deck link right here. Again, even if your team, guys, is 2 persons, you got to start training yourself to follow the process. So when your team comes in, if you decide to hire a virtual assistant, someone knows where things should go. This is her process. So that means when your team start growing, everything is there. You know what to do. I may be working on this. I remember when I was working on this solo, and I just opened my Zoom and started recording the screen. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just started recording the screen because I'm like, okay, I'm figuring this out in the process. I want whenever I hire someone, they can see everything that's happening. So they put all of this. Here's what I love too. I'm able to know, okay, if I'm raising 30,000, I know what my fee is for that 30,000. I know beforehand. If I want to see a full rundown, I'm going to go to chart. Again, I love seeing colorful things and charts. I know what's the value of the closed deals I've done. Have you closed 200,000 in deals? Okay, yes. If I want to fine tune this, I'll know how much deal I've closed in November, in December, right? I know how much commission I've made. I know how many deals are in escrow right now. How many deals I need funding? Damn, I need to raise $56,000. So you're able to see, and you can do so much more because I've done so much more, but I wanted to keep this super simple. So on my end for the sales part, I wanted to keep it super, super simple. Because as connectors, capital raisers, you want to start with the basics and maybe you have something completely different in your process that you can tweak. But I love this part of it. I'm going to pause for a little bit, check the chat. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you guys. Awesome. You guys are phenomenal. I hope this is very helpful. I really do. And I hope it's not like very, what do you call this? Overwhelming. So perfect. Okay. And then another reason why I decided to build it up, because I just couldn't find a tool that was for this. Everything was about lead gen, calling sellers and all that stuff when it come on to real estate. So I was like, I just need to find something, Okay, perfect. So let me answer Jonathan had a question about why not go high level. Reason being is, 1 was the price. 2, I know it was the same platform as REI Reply. I've used REI Reply before and I did not like it. For me, it was just too complicated. And I didn't like the fact that if I want to do something, 1, I had to watch a whole bunch of videos to figure it out, or I needed to know someone who was really good with setting it up and the triggers and all that stuff. With Monday, I like if I literally go on Monday for help, someone is there and they're willing to get on a Zoom with me and help me figure it out. And most times they help me figure out a lot of things at once. So yeah, that was the reason for not using go high level. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Love it, you guys. Okay. So this is my favorite part. So, and this is why I said, like, I know some of you guys may be researching Monday right now. Pause, don't do it yet. Because I started Monday. I think I did the basic thing and I was like, wait, but I want charge too. I want those fancy things. And I just kept upgrading. And I was like, man, but then it's going to cost each time I increase my team. So I'm going to show you guys the best way how to approach this so it's not costly. Now, so another thing that I loved was that when a deal is closed, like I'm able to know the stuff that is in escrow. When a deal is closed and I need to know, as a connector, I want to know when is the loan due date for that lender. It's not just, and I always tell people, with me as a connector, I'm not just handing off the private money lender to you and that's it. I want to know, when is this loan due date? Should they get monthly payments? Okay, when is it? We're humans. We are not going to remember every date at all. So what I love is the moment that a deal is closed, right? Well, there's no sample here, but once a deal is closed and the stage is changed to tracking payments, it now goes over the tracking payments. And you're able to see all the deals that you've closed. And all you got to do is just go in and put what is the close of escrow. So this you manually have to do. So again, majority of it is automated, but there's some things that you have to do manually. So I'd go in, I'll put in the close of escrow date. And I would look in the loan documents and I'll put what the loan due date is. I will put who the borrower is. So even in Deal Tracker, once the deal is in escrow, I know who the lender is. And the beauty of it, if they're not in my CRM, they're automatically added to my CRM. So I can communicate with those lenders. So once they go in the tracking payments, and you can put whatever additional information that you want as well. I'm able to do like a Google Drive here, and that will show all the loan docs for that particular deal. So it will bring me to the Google Drive. Something as well that I really like, I should have done a tester for this, is let's say the lender was John Brown on the Michigan deal. If I select John Brown, I'm going to do this one. Oh, this will be the borrower. But if I select on the borrower and the lender side, you can connect the boards. So I can know, let's say John Brown is a lender. On here, I can see all the deals that John Brown has done. So I'm going to give you guys an example. Let's say we did this deal, and it will show what was the value of the deal that John Brown lent on. So over time, if you use one lender for 4 deals, you're able to see the 4 deals that you used that 4 lender on, and what was the value of those 4 deals. And you can do that with the borrower as well. So this is what like the whole John Brown profile will look like, and which we'll go into now. Let's see, we have John Brown was a lender, for example, and you can see John Brown's phone number, how much money he has, what's the source of funds, his preferred lending opportunities, any notes, additional notes that you have. You can show when you first had a contact with John. Was this through a referral? So you will see the person if it was a referral or not. So you can see this on both sides. What I also love is that there's an automation that is set up that once I put in the loan due date, it will send the borrower and the lender an email 1 month before the loan is due. It will also send them another email 2 weeks before the loan is due. And it will send an email 2 days before the loan is due. You can tweak all of that for yourself, but that's just how I tweak it. Then I have templates there to give updates, because every month, every 2 months, whenever it is, the updates are going to be different. But there are templates to go in and be like, hi, and it will show lender name. Here are the updates for a project at, and it will filter it. And then if there's additional updates, I'll just put that in the email, hit send. Again, I'm able to see all the communication about an Atlanta deal. Nothing beats when the loan is paid off and you move the status from tracking payments to close. Because the moment it closed, it means all these deals you have repaid. Now, I don't have something in here to say delayed, knock on wood, but things can happen. If it happens, then I'm just going to build something where I need to put in a pipeline that this person is late. or a late fee or something like that. When it happens, that's when you build on it, right? Also in deal tracker, once the deal is closed, because you guys hear about it, ask your lenders for reviews. Once the deal is closed, they automatically get an email. The lender and the borrower get an email. The subject line goes something like, "We've officially closed," and you have like the ta-da, the confetti. And in the email, it says, "We have closed 123 Main Street," and you don't have to put 123 Main Street. The automations like these, it will filter it based on the property address. So it'll tell that we have closed a deal. We value service. If there's a monthly payment, you will get reminders for the monthly payment. And then we would say something like, what do we say? Well, actually, like, we're trying to improve our service. Let us know how was your experience with us. And it will give them a link to leave a review, like a survey link. It's like 5 questions. And the questions just ask them like, what's your name? What's your phone number? What service did you receive? Were you a borrower that got funding, or did you provide a private money lending opportunity, private money lending? You can rate, so that they have the option to rate. So you have the stars there as well. And you also have a section where they can provide additional stuff. So again, it's an opportunity for you to get referrals. When you're borrowing money, people ask you, "Hey, do you have referrals?" "Oh yeah, I have these. They're right here." And you can show persons those referrals. I wish I could send a form, but I can't. And then lastly is contacts. So with the contacts as well, is that once someone, as I said, once they go in, depending if they're an investor or lender, you select what type they are. You just select the main thing that the person is known for. That's just how how I work is it's the lending side. So priority for me is lender. And if they have, after having conversation with them on the phone, and I was like, "Oh, they're an investor too," then I have the option of selecting investor and whatever roles that they have. See that I spoke about where if it's John Brown, you're able to know which deal have John Brown done, what was the value of those deals, and all those additional info. So that's the part with the capital raising. Now, as a connector, when you're meeting with people, you need something to collect all the information. Again, go back to the forms. Even if you have to fill it out for the lender while you're on the phone, do it. Because the same thing, fill out the form. When you fill out the form, it will filter. Oops, I did not save that demo. But similar to the need money, when it fills out a form, when you fill out the lender intake form, these are questions for lenders. So whatever it is that you're doing, that's what your form will be about. It will pull things for the main table. On my PML intake form, there's something that asks the lender, "How soon are you ready to fund?" And I use that criteria because if they select right now, I want that lender to go into hot leads. If the lender select that I'm ready to fund in 6+ months, they'll go into warm lead, right? No, I'm not a salesperson at all. I'm just figuring this out. And it's, again, still getting better. So if James comes in, it will automatically go to James as schedule meeting. Because it's assuming that James fill out the intake form and I need to schedule a meeting. Let's say James got my calendar link, he scheduled a meeting. I'm going to put meeting schedule. Or if my VA sent out something to James and it pops up in my calendar, meeting schedule. Who is James? James is a lender. Oh, okay. James said he has 55,000. James said he's ready to fund right now. James' preferred lending opportunity is double closing and gap funding, transactional funding. Okay. Where did James said he met me on Facebook? Perfect. He also heard about me on Instagram. Okay. Was James through a referral? Yeah. Put in the person's name. Right. And then it shows the date. Okay, that means when I have a conversation with James, I'm gonna come back in here and be like, okay, he's not ready. I need to follow up. I had a meeting. Oh, I closed him. I qualified him. You can use whatever is it that you want, right? And then I have the option. Maybe he left out some information. I would go over all of this on the phone just to make sure everything is good. So what's your source of funds? And again, depending on the conversation, I'll know what to ask him. I already have my list. Sometimes I hear unique things that I will just plug it in. Okay, he has that, he has his IRA, blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of times lenders have multiple source of funding. Switch all of that. And if I want to put notes, I'll put additional notes. All right. It was a fantastic conversation with James, but I'm going to follow up in 2 weeks. So I'm going to go next contact and I'm going to follow up with him in 2 weeks and it's there. So that way, even if I put this to close, when it goes in my contacts, maybe I know I normally do follow-ups Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And I'm like, damn, it's follow-up Tuesdays. So I'm going to go in here, either my lender leads or my general contacts, and I'm going to look for everyone that I need to follow that particular day and follow up. Right? So the key is you just want to start training yourself to put these information in and save all your data. Don't get technical, just start somewhere. Start literally somewhere. I can see how much money I've raised. Whoop, there you go. I can see how much money I've raised year to date, each month. That way I can do KPIs for myself. You know, sometimes people talk about, oh, I've raised X amount of money. The reason how I know that I've raised almost 2.5 million, because I pull stuff back from Monday, from ClickUp. I pull stuff back from my Excel, and I just plug them back in. Before I built this out, I built something, it's still in Monday where I call it year-to-date performance. Before I had these fancy stuff, and I would write down every person that I spoke to and how much money, just to know how much money I've raised. And I treat Monday, I think one of the main thing for me is that I had to train my mind that I'm not a hustler anymore. I'm not a one-man show anymore. This is a business and I need to operate as such. I remember reading the book, oh my God. The Michael Gerber. Come on, you're right here. Why can't Michael Gerber something but investor? The E-Myth, yes. Oh my gosh, that's like my favorite book ever. The E-Myth revisited for investors. I remember reading that book and he's like, if you're having a business, like you may not have the CEO or the CFO right now, write it down. And I remember I started thinking like that. And I'm like, okay, this is a business that I'm operating. Okay. And that's why I love Monday, because just as how you would have departments in an organization, when you guys work for a corporate, oh, damn, I got to go to HR. Oh, I got to go to marketing. What's the operations? And I'm going to give you guys more of a sneak peek. I treat workspaces in Monday as a department. So I have goals that I keep. It's for me, because I wanted somewhere that I could keep it everywhere. I have HR. So if I hire VA, if I'm paying persons, I know everything is in there. Easy for me to find. Marketing, everything that I'm doing marketing wise. Okay, I'm planning this workshop. Here's the things that I need to do for this Zoom. And it's all there because it's marketing. Operations, for example, my VA, have all these things for the VA. Go in, I know what their task is, their timesheet, all these, literally all these things that I've built up. I know what they're doing. Okay, for example, webinar today. She has to now send a thank you, the follow-up email tomorrow. It's already drafted. She's waiting for me to review. I am notified when that is done. Again, all this stuff, you guys, I love colors. Like I'm a visual person, so I love all these things. So I know what's going on. Our communication is there. Everything is there. I do property management there. So all the properties that I'm setting up, like setup list, for example, like I need to transfer everything else over, but it's all right there in one place that we're doing. And I really love the fact that, so I'm going to give you a sneak peek. No, Aaron, what should I do? Aaron? Oh, wait, I'm just going to give you this is everything. So this is on my end. This is all the stuff. All of it. qualifying checklists, resources, or criteria, this is all of it. Try to stay as organized as possible. But what I would say as well is, what am I doing here? Okay, I'm just a very organized person, you guys. And I just like systems. I like structure, rather. That's the best way for me to put it. And for me, it's like, if I'm telling a lender this is the service that they're gonna expect when they work with me, I want to live up to my word. It's not gonna be perfect. A lot of times, like, we had glitches in the system, and I felt so bad and I beat myself up. But they're like, oh no, that's okay. You have been communicating. We all talk about communication, but we as individuals get super busy. So we got to automate whatever is it that we can automate. We cannot remember everything. So in talking to different persons as well who have seen this before, they were like, are you offering this? I was like, hell no, it's not perfect. I'm not doing that at all. But I realized, someone said to me, is that, hey, you can help more connectors as well. So what I decided to do is really, oh, I stopped sharing my screen. I'm so dumb. Okay, perfect. So what I start doing is just decided to create the whole, like the main portion of it as a basic, just so it doesn't overwhelm persons, and just call it the connector organizer for capital raisers, which is powered by Monday. So majority of the things that I've shown you, you will get in those tools. You will get all the forms to track the deals, to coordinate with your team. We will do like an onboarding for you guys as well, to set up everything, talk to your team, make sure all the automations are in place. Doing all these things, manage your contacts, because for a lot of connectors, it's like, I have all these contacts, and yeah, you want to connect with a bunch of people, but how are you keeping track of everything and staying organized, right? So we're doing this. I think we're only doing 25 people. So far we have 10. Yeah, because we didn't want to like overwhelm everyone, and we're selling for $197. The barcode will take you straight to the link, and I'll drop the link in the chat as well. Yeah, so while I drop that in the chat, I'm gonna stop screen share. I'm gonna go through the chat and try to answer some of the questions that you guys have. So hold 1 second, copy and go to the chat. Okay, so let's see. So, right, so with Monday, so to set up everything with the onboarding, it's $197. And with Monday, I think the plan is like 20, is it 20 bucks? If you're like a solo person, 20 bucks per month. I think it's something like that. But for me, it was worth it, because again, I'm treating this as a business, and I'm managing everything in one place. I have the app. I have the app on my phone. I get alerts, and it just allow me to take everything in one place. How long? Okay, hold on. Also, do you think you could use Monday for acquisitions also? If you're doing acquisitions, I know you can integrate, Teresa, I know you can integrate Twilio, but if you're doing leads and stuff like that, it may be best to stick to like the platform like Go High Level or REI Reply, since it was built for that. Let's see. Are you using Monday to use for your buy and hold properties? Yes, Colin. So I use Monday in the property management side. All the tasks that I need to do for that, keep track of like passwords, banking info, all the things that I've done. I keep that there. What made you switch from ClickUp to Monday, JJ, is that ClickUp didn't allow me to see the charts that I wanted, and there were some automations or things that I wanted to do, and ClickUp was just not allowing me to do it, especially like labeling the persons where you have like lender, and I could give them other roles as well. ClickUp wasn't allowing me to do that. Awesome. Did you say this is a paid version? Yes, Tigger. So I'll send you the link, Tigger, for you to use. So Farron said, if John Brown has 4 deals in the pipeline, do I have him listed 4 times or just have his name once? So you would just have his name once. So right before his name, right beside his name, you would actually see the 4 deals that he has done and what was the value of those 4 deals. Tina asks, how long did it take you to build this out? Started building this out around September, and I'm still building it out. Oh, if you should have seen what it looked like before. It was a mess. What's the name of the book? E-Myth Revisited. So can you use Monday for all things contact manager, deal tracker, acquisition? Yes, you can use Monday for what is it that you want, you guys. And what I did, how I got some of the ideas, I had a demo meeting with Monday rep. Monday team uses Monday to manage everything. So I kind of got like a sneak peek of everything that they do. And I told the guy what I wanted to do, and he explained all the things that I could have done. And he guided me in how to build it up. So like one night, I'm a night person, no distractions, no phone. And I was just on Monday, and the things were just coming. The automations are super easy to use. You don't have to have techie background, which I love. And the templates are just there and so straightforward. So I love that. Todd said, how much of that is pre-filled out of box and how much did you add or change? Todd, can you remember? You can unmute yourself too.
Hey,
Hey, honey. Tell me, go again with, you said how much of that is pre-filled out of the box and how much did you add or change?
yeah, like in the fields when you're adding, when you were scrolling left to right and everything, and there's different boxes that you were adding or changing or whatever. How much was that from the connector capital raiser profile to what you wanted to put in yourself?
Majority of it is pre-filled. Because what you do is on your form, you put all the questions that you want to ask. But what you do is you kind of keep it super simple because, you know, some person be like, oh, this form is too long. So, but the main things are usually on the form. So once they fill out the form, it will pre-fill. The only time I may change something is just having a conversation with them and something changed, and I'll just go in and manually add it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Perfect. Colin, no, it's crazy if I want an integrator job. I hate this, but here's the thing is that, again, it's like, I kind of had an idea how to do it. So I'm like, instead of like wasting someone else's time as well, I'm explaining what I wanted, I could just do it. And it's not like, I know I need to get out of the who, not how mentality, but if I'm working on something right now in Monday and I'm like, oh, I wonder if there's an automations for this, I'm going to go in the automation template because there's something for it. I'm not going to wait for the integrator to do it because it's like an easy plug and play, and I can test it out myself just to see how it works to make sure it's good. Colin, I'm in. And I know I kind of cheated because before I even launched it, I kind of gave it to a few persons before. So sorry, I gave it to a few persons before I launched it fully. Can you talk about what ClickUp couldn't do for you? Philip, you still want me to touch on that with ClickUp?
No, you got it. You're good.
Okay, perfect. 20, yeah. So the
actually, quick question. For Monday, if you were doing direct to seller kind of stuff, marketing, do you think it wouldn't be the right tool?
So good question. And I think I want to touch on this too, because I know Teresa asked a question about acquisitions, is that Monday just launched their sales CRM portion of it. So the way how I got my flow as well is just seeing how that worked out. I also did a free trial there and with their rep, and I liked how it functioned. So I would say before, if you already have a sales CRM, don't switch over yet. Test out Monday first, just to see, set up a demo with them to see how the sales side work of it, because I know, but I can't really like fully explain it to you. But Monday, if you have a lot of things happening, do Monday. Now, before I had ClickUp, I had Get Response for email marketing, then I had Card for website management. And I was like, no, I need to streamline everything. So now I literally just have ClickFunnels. I use MailChimp, which MailChimp, everything is integrated. So once you go into Monday, once you fill out any form, MailChimp automatically tag you wherever you should go, if you're a lender or if you're an investor. So I don't got to do that part of it. And if I want to keep, if I'm setting up a short-term rental, I just need to go into the property management side of things. And I have my full cleaning checklist. I have everything that I need to do, from property setup to finance, all those things that I have to get done. I can find it all in one place. And
Are you able to do like email blast campaigns that are automated by, like, in 2 days send this email, in 5 days send this email to different contacts? Like, can you set up like
I know you can do, I know you can do the email blast on Monday Sales CRM. You can do that. I saw it, but I do most of my email blasts, like schedule my posts using MailChimp with that one. And then I think you had another question, right? Or no? I'm good. Tigger said, is it $20 a month plus your fee? So my fee is it's just a one-time onboarding fee. Just literally a one time. And then what I want to do is, like, every time I update something on my system, I just notify you that I've done this whole new thing and then transfer it over to your system as well, to make it help. Which plan? Maria, so I'll show you like the right plan to get. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna have to say what I'll do, because I think I'm gonna lose it. Everyone that attended, I'm gonna send out an email with the link and the right plan for you to get, because I don't want you guys to get the wrong plan if you're trying to do it. Yes, this includes all the forms for the review form for the lender and the borrower, the deal intake form. You also get an EMD form, because I created it, but I no longer use it. I also have a multifamily deal intake form that I also do not use that much. Let's see, which MailChimp plan do you use for your integration to work? I think I just use a standard plan because my contacts is between 1,000 to 5,000 or something like that. And then as it grows, then I keep doing it. And then how do you manage your listings on all the LTA platforms, PM side? Michelle, I still keep Hospitable in place with everything that I'm doing for the automation. The only thing I do in Monday, and I think you can sync Hospitable to Monday. I just haven't tried it, but I heard someone say that. What I do for the property management side is just to organize, like to have the list, because when you're setting up a new property, at least if you have a team member setting up a property, they already know your process, everything that should be done, and stuff like that. So I use Monday for that, which, girl, I need to just export that thing and just give it to you, because I know you do a lot of and that's the beauty of it. The things on Monday, you guys, is that let's say you decide to switch from Monday to something else, you can export everything. It will automatically export it into an Excel sheet and give it to you. So wherever next platform you go on, normally they ask you for an Excel or CSV file. You can export everything in your Monday in that Word doc, PDF, all those stuff you can export and send it over. What system do you use to qualify borrowers? For me to qualify borrowers is a lot of times is that I want to know how is the lender getting back their money. We all do the standard promissory note, deed of trust. That's a non-negotiable. I don't care about that. I want to know, what is your experience with that particular project? Have you done any project before? Tell me about that project, right? I'm trying to qualify your experience. Key, do you have anything for cross collateralization? Okay, what do you got? What's the property address? What's the underlying debt? I want to also make sure that that property that you want us to raise capital for has 2 exit strategies at all times. So even those criteria, we share those criteria with our lenders, so they know that we're actually doing more due diligence as well. Another thing that we do to qualify borrowers, we don't do background checks at all. We don't do that. It's really the conversations. It's literally a conversation. And we just want to make sure, like, the things are in place for the lender to make sure their money is protected. Worst case scenario, if this deal is late, what happens? If they default, what happens? So we're spelling out all of that on paper. and because we know it can happen. So that's with that one. And then does Monday work with email marketing? Yes, it is perfect. So Monday works perfectly, JJ, with MailChimp. One of the automation that it's set up, if you have a MailChimp account, you will get this as well if you get the connector organizer. Whereas once, I think the automation, once you're added to the list, like it shows like once an item is created, they're automatically added to my MailChimp account. Then I really do have an integrator mind. Over on MailChimp, once they get that contact, they automatically get a welcome email to be like, hey, welcome to our list, blah, blah, like it's not a welcome. Here's a private money lending guide. They get that. Here's a few deals that we've done so you can see case studies or deal structure. Here's our website for more info. All of that automated through MailChimp. Thanks for stopping by, Todd. How would you lend to a borrower who is just getting started with a fix and flip? I ran into that a lot of times. And to be honest, I've had borrowers who with no experience, it's a solid deal. It's really good. Oh, I'm sorry, but their experience is a deal breaker. I would recommend if they can find someone to partner with, that would be fantastic. Or partner with the lender, like do a whole entity or JV agreement with the, why am I saying JV agreement? I don't like using JV. Okay. If the lender is new, I recommend, if the borrower is new, I always recommend the borrower to get an LLC with the lender, not a JV agreement. So don't call me. Reason being, that protects everyone on hand. I recently learned, again, full disclosure, you guys, this is just from my experience. I recently learned if a lender goes in on a deal and they have the promissory note, the deed of trust, and they also have the JV agreement, sometimes if they should go in court, I need to explain this right because I don't want to screw up. I want to make sure it makes sense. If the lender has a promissory note and a deed of trust, and they also have a JV agreement, the JV agreement may outweigh the promissory note and a deed of trust just because of how the JV agreement is worded. So I would say double check with an attorney with that. So now if a borrower is partnering with the lender, I always recommend that they get an LLC together. That way the entity is carrying the loan. The entity has the guarantors, and the entity has an operating agreement to show who is bringing the capital. So it's stronger. That's my 2 cents. Again, don't quote me, just experience. From my experience, personal experience, guys, please don't quote me. So we need MailChimp also. You don't necessarily need MailChimp. Is he still here? Oh, I think he was just here. You don't necessarily need MailChimp. It's just up to you if you want to build your list and market. It's not a mandatory thing. I just use it because I was taught by Amy, right, Philip, to always keep building your list. And I started building my list with 20 people, 50 people, like BCCing people on Gmail, but my list was just growing and I knew I needed something else. So that's why I switched to MailChimp. So it's not necessarily that you have to do that. But once you keep growing, then you can decide if you want to do marketing as well. And it's also a lot of my lenders kind of prefer emails. A lot of persons always talk about send me an email. So at least they get all the details there. And then I would call or text. Yes, call and check HUDs as well to qualify borrower and previous PML lender referrals as well. Oh, shout out to Colin, this is insane. I'm not going to put you in blast fully, but let's just say Colin is now like my partner, and we met through another lending engagement, which now is my partner, which really helped with the due diligence. Things that I miss, he sees as well. So it's been phenomenal. Like last week, was it last week, Colin? We got like 4 deals funded. Yeah, literally 4 deals that we've been marketing for 2 weeks, and then we got the 4 deals funded in escrow the last week before the new year. So shout out. And this, I'm just saying this too, is like we talk about a lot of connectors, but you don't need to work with a bunch of people. Like if you find like 3 or 4 solid people who are just consistent, just stick with them and do your thing and grow together, you know? Yes, let me see. I'm going through. Awesome. So yes, thank you guys for tuning in. Really hope this was very valuable. I want to shout out to my team, shout out to Colin, shout out to Aaron, shout out to my VA who's all the way in the Philippines. It's like we're a 4-man show, but we make it happen. We don't meet every single time. Thank you, Jackie, for helping. Really hope this helped. I'm gonna drop the link here again. With everything. I know a lot of times persons always talk about, hey, I sent you a deal and on Facebook, and I'm like, send it through the form. And you're like, yeah, I don't want to fill out the form, but I always say like, hey, I guarantee you send it through the form, you're gonna get a quicker response than if you wait to me, because I'm gonna respond to your text or your email like hours after. By that time, my underwriter could have like vet the deal, get clarification, give you approval or not, and be done with it. So please spam me with future info, Trevor. Spam. And that's the thing too. I try not to do a lot of spamming. Like I try to do like mandatory, like 2 emails a week, Tuesdays and Fridays to my lenders, with these that we have any new info. Unless it's absolutely necessary, we'll send like an additional email each month. So if we're raising capital and working on pitch deck, we know that, ooh, we didn't have this pitch deck ready before Tuesday. So we don't do emails on Mondays, because then everyone's email is already full. So we kind of do it on Tuesdays to get everything to go through. And again, like we are literally still figuring this out. It's just testing it as we go. I wouldn't recommend, if you're not sure if you want to do capital raising, don't get the connector organizer. Just don't get it. But if you want to use Monday for other things too, I'm gonna give you that link as well for you to go and get it if you need help. I'm here. But be very intentional. Like especially if you're gonna use a connector tool, you just need to start training yourself that this is a business and you operate as such. You know, everyone that you connect with, you be intentional with the questions that you ask. Like we all want to make money together, duh. Not be like, how can we make money together? No, based on the conversation, like really figure that part out. How do we save this chat? Good question. Oh, hey, Janine, thank you. What else? You guys have any questions? I can spend like 2 more minutes. I know I will stay on here and go on forever. But if you guys have questions, like feel free to unmute yourself.
I got a question.
Oh, go ahead, Farron.
Alicia, how's it going? So could you talk about, let's say, connected fees, because we're all in here, we want to raise funds. What if we're working together? You might have a lender, I might have a deal. Talk a little bit more about that, how we can all connect with each other and make some income with that.
So what I would do when I do connector fees is that I would tell the persons that, hey, I already included my connector fee in the total raise. Reason being, because if I agree, if the borrower wants, let's say 10,000 and the connector fee is 12,000, so the total raise is 12,000. I don't want the connector to go and add 3,000 to make it now 15,000. Because that means the promissory note deed of trust needs to show the 15,000. And that's not what we agreed on with the borrower. So what I do is tell the connector, hey, my fee is already included. We will split the fee. Now, I always clarify how we split the fee. And here's why. If the connector is just connecting, they're not vetting the lender, they're not explaining the deal to the lender, they're just saying, hey, Kalisha, here's a deal. Then I pay them 40% of the fee. If they come in, the lender is ready to go, we split it 50-50. The reason being is because I still have my team that I need to pay. I'm still the one, even after connecting, I have to continuously do the follow-up, When the lender needs to be repaid, I have to make sure that lender has their payoff statement, right? When we're working on the pitch deck, our team already created a pitch deck, or team did the underwriting. So we vet all of that. So I would say there's no right or wrong way to do it, Farron. You just need to have that conversation with the person who's raising the capital, and state what is it that you want up front. Don't assume the person no, right? Because a lot of times the persons may not even want to say something, but you just say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, and that person can like disagree or agree. Now, I've done deals, a lot of times I've done deals where it's 50-50. I don't care. Because by the time the lender comes over, we just need to start the paperwork. And the most we'll do is have a conversation to review the deal once again to make sure everything is solid. As it relates to fee, I started out doing 1%, and I was like, hell no. Because I saw the value that I was providing. My lenders appreciated that value, and I valued my time. So I stopped doing fees, no percentage, and I had flat fee. If you're between, for example, you want 10,000 or 20,000, okay, my fee is 2,000, for example, right? And I have a minimum. I don't care what the amount is. I'm not working a deal if I'm making less than 2,500. Because at the end, and this is personal for me, I mean, that point, it is not worth my time, and it's not worth my team's time. Because again, we're underwriting, we're keeping track of all the projects way after, even if this loan is 12 months, we have to make sure that we're following up with this deal for 12 months. Because again, what we do is that we're also following up with the borrower every single month. What is going on with this deal? Send us pictures, and then we're communicating that to the lender. So we're very hands-on in the entire transaction.
Thanks.
No problem. Aaron said, I was just about to ask who is here want to connect. Oh, shout out to Aaron, has his number there. What are the average fees per capital raise? Jessica would say it wouldn't, on average, like, how would I say this? I wouldn't say an average, because we try to look on how soon do you need the money. We looked on the amount. Full disclosure, if I've never worked with you before, again, this is our criteria. We do not raise capital over 100,000 if I've never worked with you before. Because I know our lenders that we've worked with, and most times they're not comfortable lending over 100,000 to someone that I can't even vouch for. So this is just our criteria for us to be safe. 100,000 max for persons that we've never worked with before. But if this is someone we worked with before, we can raise 700,000. It doesn't matter, right? Again, this is just our criteria. The fees, where fees can go 2,000 and it can go up to 10,000 on average. So minimum 2,500, and it goes up to 10,000. There's also an underwriting fee for us. And sometimes there's a TC, sometimes there's an admin fee. It really just depends on the deal itself. We kind of just try to evaluate it based on what we have to do. And I just change the fees amount after talking to different people. And if I see what the value is, at first I used to, and I'm thinking of going back to it as a connector where I charge an upfront fee, because what is happening as connectors, you spend all this time raising capital for a deal, putting all this work. And as I said, the borrower goes, someone disappears, and you're not paid for your time. So I used to charge an upfront fee that was non-refundable. And if we didn't find capital for that deal, that fee would go to the next transaction that you want us to raise capital for. And this idea just came in, I think when I first came with the idea, just talking to a different person, I'm like, I'm going to test this out. And then after we stopped, but I think we're going to go back to it, because we are spending a lot of times being a capital raiser, guys. It's not just connecting and sending messages. You're having conversation with lenders about a deal, spending time, holding hands with new people. So you're providing a very valuable skill. And trust me, you're gonna meet people who value what you're bringing to the table, and they don't care what they're paying for your fee. They're like, hey, I need $10,000. I don't care what your fee is, add it there. I just need that money. Because these are people that value your time and value what you're bringing to the table as well. Do you set terms, or the borrower or the lender does? Most times if the borrower sends us a deal and they have terms, we will underwrite it based on the terms that they provide. But if we see something that would work better for terms, especially for equity or anything like that, we will propose it. And most times they will go with it as well. Makes sense. Thank you. Do I do a minimum of 20? What's your fee for 100K? 100K, sorry. It will depend on what you need the money for and how soon you need it. So I'll say if you need it, I'll give you like an intake form that you can fill out. And then from there, we will evaluate it. What's up? I'm trying to answer a lot of time. Work till midnight. Yeah, Colin is right. Like we work till midnight. I remember, was it New Year's Eve, Colin? Yeah. It was New Year's Eve working on
Yeah,
the
New Year's Eve. I was working New Year's Day. Everybody was drinking. We were closing deals and got 3 contracts on the
it was
post
insane.
out. Yeah.
I think Friday evenings are a day. Monday is just a weird day for me. But I think once our newsletter goes out Tuesday, it's like back-to-back phone calls. And then out of the blue, everyone is interested by Friday. And there's this sneaky thing, you send out a newsletter on Friday, it gives lenders enough time on weekends to also vet the deal. So even on weekends, we get a lot of calls done on weekends, because that gives person with the capital enough time to review emails rather than during the week. And that's also another reason we do not send emails out on Monday. If you're going to do an upfront fee, I would suggest, this is what we did before. I think it was like 1% I think it was like 1% of the loan amount, or it was 1% of the actual fee. No, not the actual fee, or 5% of the finder's fee, or something like that. It was a percentage of the finder's fee, or it was a percentage of the loan amount that we did. And we put it that it was non-refundable. That way, at least our underwriting team gets paid for their time. And the moment you start like being so strict with these things, you are gonna cut out all the persons who are not serious. Like sometimes person will submit us a deal and they're like, why wasn't the deal approved? First of all, the deal is not under contract. Boom, we would automatically go to not approved, because we're not going to raise capital for a hypothetical scenario. Again, we just value our time in what we're doing. This deal needs to be under contract before we start raising capital for it. I have someone that wants to stick with minimum of 25 or wants to raise 100K, but doesn't want to pay me more than that. Oh, see, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. No. If you know, Jessica, that you can find that 108K, don't do that 25. No. No. I'm telling you straight up, no. No. 100%, no. 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 They don't value your time. Plus you have to do your own due diligence too. No. Tell them to go away. They can go away. No. And that too, be strict on we're strict on our finder's fee, and sometimes we're flexible. It just depends who we're working with. And we get creative. You get creative when you're actually in the transaction. That's when you get very creative about things. Exactly, Michelle. Like, remember, it's your business and not everyone will fit your business. Oh, that took me a while to accept, because at first I wanted everyone, because I'm like, I'm losing money. I'm not making the money. Again, guys, I'm doing this full time. And I used to like reduce my fee and all that stuff. And after I reduce my fee, I'll be like, this person don't want to pay. And I'm like, no, Kalisha, you reduced your fee. And they accepted it. So you can't blame them. Now I'm like, here's our fee. If you agree, then we raise capital for it. If you don't appreciate it, bye-bye, who's next? I spend time on people who value my time and go raise capital for them. What else? On it right. Stick to your SOPs. Perfect. You guys have been amazing. This is good. I'm like, I haven't done these in so long because I've been trying to stay focused. I remember literally I just go on calls because everyone was like, you need to connect with more people. So I used to like just randomly be on phone calls for the entire day. And I get so drained and the day is done and I look on my whiteboard. I'm like, I haven't even touched any of my big rocks. Like, what have I done to pour into my cup, my energy? Like, I'm done. And I had to do it. That's why I'm very strategic. If we get on a Zoom for 30 minutes, just mean that I love you. If I give you 30 minutes on a Zoom or a phone call, I love you. Especially on the weekend, like a 2-hour, I love you. Because I don't do it for anyone, right? We get in a call, 15 minutes. Respect my time, respect your time. Let's be very, very intentional with this. We're not trying to pick brains and all that stuff because we spend so much time on this call. We never take action and do things. Like at all. Like sometimes you got to like disconnect from everything. Go into solace. Just disappear. 1 to 2 hours on Facebook, check it. And just go in your zone. You'll be surprised the amount of clarity you get, even if it's just for a week. You get so much clarity and so much work that like, if you're like, I'm really gonna do this, I'm gonna focus on my business and do this whole thing. Like so much time, like Michelle and I will be on Zoom and we're like brainstorming together. We're like, this is the hiccup, blah, blah. And then we don't talk to each other for like 2 weeks. But then when we connect again, what have you done from the last time that we spoke? Oh, you've been slacking. Literal, like these are intentional conversation. Like you don't need a bunch of people. Just select your tribe. Like I can always kind of call, like every time Colin send me a voice memo, happy Friday. I could be having a horrible day. And he starts this voice memo, happy Monday. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Yeah. But just the sound of it, like, again, you just need your tribe and you're good. Just work with your tribe and you're solid. So that's my little motivational 2 cents, because I know what it feels like seeing all these things happening. But pick one thing. Pick that one thing is it that you want to do. If it's capital raising, if it's sales, pick it. If it scares the shit out of you, that means you should do it. Literally, if it scares you so bad, do it. But it's also going to take a lot of internal work, not you talking to a friend. Yes, it will help, but it will take a lot of work within yourself to sit within yourself and be like, what do you want, Kalisha? Like, what is it that you want for you? Sit down, write it out, the best plan. Damn, I need to read more books. Okay, now I want to, guys, when I figured out that I need to scale my business, the books that I read, scaling business, operating businesses, podcast, operating business. So I think I re-listened to E-Myth about 4 or 5 times, making notes, pitching, raising capital. What's that guy called? Oren Claff, pitch anything. That book changed how I raise private capital and pitching deals, having conversations with people. That book helped so much. And I listened to podcasts like what is it called? Secret to Success with E.T. That has helped me a ton. And Jay Shetty, that has helped me a lot. Recently now, because I'm in the growing part of with leads, everything with leads, like leads is everything. Now I heavily read Alex Hormozy book, $100 Million Sales. I listen to his podcast a whole lot now because I'm in that phase where I need to figure out how can I get leads in my business. Because again, you start thinking I have a business, I have the systems, I'm building a team. Another aspect of it is leads. So I would read the book, I have it like right here. I have this huge ass book and notebook, and I read it chapter by chapter. And when I'm at a chapter, I have my notepad. Oh, I can do this. And I'm writing things down. And I literally stop reading the book. Until I implement what I wrote down in that chapter, I don't move on to the next chapter. Because now I need to test it out and see how is this working. So yeah, someone said motivational Mondays. Oh, thanks, JJ. I like to show people like, listen, y'all see me, a lot of persons see me like, oh, I see you on social media. And I was like, yeah, but y'all don't know half of it. So if I can share that with somebody, I want to share that because I'm normal. I go through my stuff. I quit my job and wasn't making money for months. Some months is whoops. Some months I'm like, oh, what's happening? But I just take a break if I need to and keep going. And I have a support. Sometimes you just, as I said, you really just have to disconnect. That is going to be the key until you're like, this is a business. And you start training your mind to operate as an entrepreneur, everything's going to change. Literally everything. So yeah. Hope this was helpful. This was good. I really need to do these more. Man. Maggie's like, yes. Oh, Maggie.
Yes.
I meant to text you. Sorry, everyone's gonna hear our business. I'm walking I'm walking with a builder next week, so I'm gonna text you so you can come on.
Okay.
I'm gonna be in St. Pete, I think, with a builder.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes. So that's if y'all are in Tampa, we host a meetup every month. So I think tomorrow is the meetup, but I heard there's a storm coming, which I had no clue about. So I'm gonna just check the weather app on that and see what's happening. Thank you, Jackie, for everything. Hey, Amanda. Girl, I love you. Where are you? Amanda, his family from my RPM, Raising Private Money Mastermind. Amanda is also someone that I touch base with a lot because she and her husband, they're running a phenomenal business. They're freaking amazing when it comes on to raising capital, you guys, like amazing. When it comes on to systems and stuff, like they're my go-to that I go to and ask them, I'm stuck here. What are you doing? So thanks, girl, for showing up. I appreciate you.
Thanks. We love you, Kalisha. Great work.
Thank you. She's amazing. All right. So I respect, we've been here for 2 hours. So you guys will be getting the link tomorrow. I think the automation is going to set up to about 10:15. Again, making my life easier thanks to my VA. The automation is going to go out tomorrow with the replay link. The Monday link as well is going to go out. And if you want to get the connector, Zoom, that organizer, that's going to go out. And I think I'm considering the opening up a more free slots, seeing that I kind of give away slots before I kind of launched it. But we'll see how that goes. All right. Thank you. Oh, see you at Fun Launch. Yes, Alonzo, I will be at Fun Launch. So I won't be able to make it a Squat Up Live, to Squat Up Summit, but I will be at Fun Launch. So see you there. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up, and I'll see you guys.